what up? Welcome back to another video on one of the YouTube channels ever, and today we're going to be talking about a sick situation involving that vegan teacher. And I'm of course not talking about the good type of sick where you just landed a wicked trick on your skateboard, or the type of sick where you got a bit of a cough. I'm talking about the EDP type sicko, so make sure to buckle yourself in cause this video is going to get pretty rough. But getting right into it, I know that most of you probably already know who that vegan teacher is, but for the few of you that don't, I'm gonna give you a super quick rundown on who this person actually is. So that vegan teacher is an online creator that, like you can probably tell from her name, tries to promote being vegan and all the benefits of it. But unlike pretty much every other vegan creator, and also contrary to her name, she doesn't really teach people about being vegan whatsoever. What she really does is pretty much just attacks people and calls them cruel and a bunch of other names for not being vegan. And if anything, she's done more harm to the vegan community than actually helping them. She's also just been steadily getting crazier and more unhinged over time. Her old content used to be fairly normal, albeit she was still pretty much just attacking people for not being vegan. It was still pretty normal stuff and her just aggressively trying to convert people into vegans. But like I said, her content has steadily been going off the rails and getting more unhinged over time, and a great example of that is her video titled "Hitler is a Nice Guy." She was basically going to war with a commenter on the video that was saying that you can eat meat and still also like animals. And the example that this commenter was using is that he volunteers at some sort of animal shelter and he still also eats meat. But that vegan teacher, being the crazy person that she is, decided to take that and somehow managed to compare it to Hitler being a nice guy. She was trying to say that using this guy's logic, oh yeah, Hitler, I'm sure he was a great guy because I'm sure he's held the door for people before, I'm sure he said please and thank you before, so he couldn't be a bad guy. The few good things he's done makes up for all the negatives. And to even think of a take like that, you already have to be a different kind of unhinged. But now that we know a bit more about who that vegan teacher is and the outrageous ideas she has, we can finally get into today's situation. So recently, a decent amount of people have been seeing this video uploaded by that vegan teacher titled "I don't want to be that vegan teacher anymore." And this video might just be one of her most normal videos ever. It's just her really walking around, recording some geese, and talking about how her experience as that vegan teacher has been and why she doesn't really want to be that character anymore. And a lot of people took this as a pretty genuine video and they're like, oh well, maybe we should give her a second chance because who knows, you know, maybe she was playing this character and she doesn't really like it anymore and she wants to be known for something different. So after seeing this video, it led a decent amount of people back to her channel to see if her content has actually changed or not, and in the process of doing that, that's where we find the video of today's topic: psychotic aunt robs baby of her vegan virginity. And I'm gonna just kick it off by saying this title alone already rubs me the wrong way. I don't know if vegan virginity is an actual term used in the vegan community or not, but at least in this specific situation, I'm not really fucking with it. She could have worded this any other way and it would have been better. But who knows, maybe we could just be jumping the gun and judging a book by its cover, so let's take a look at the video and see what she says.
Imagine that this is your baby, and you ask your sister to babysit for a little while because you have to run some errands. Imagine that you tell your sister that you are vegan and you don't want your baby to eat any animal products. You trust your sister because you think your sister loves you and respects you. But when you're not looking, your sister takes the dead body part of an innocent animal who didn't want to die and feeds it to your child.
Alright, I'm gonna stop it right quick just to try to explain a bit of what's actually going on here. So like you can see here, she's reacting to a TikTok video of a baby eating a barbecue rib, and the text over the screen says, "Feeding my vegan sister's baby barbecue ribs." Now a few of you might be wondering, sushi, why the hell did you pause it? You didn't need to explain this to us. We can see what's going on right there. The thing that I really wanted to point out is, like I said, this is a TikTok video. The thing about TikTok videos like these is 90% of them just aren't what's actually going on at all. There's a high chance that the baby in this video is just a random person's child that has nothing to do with being vegan at all. What people will typically do on TikTok is either find a popular video, or if they're the creator of a popular video, they'll take that video and then they'll just add text to it that isn't really the actual situation that's going on. And they of course do this because if it was popular once, it's sure to be popular again with extra text that's really meant to get people talking. So there's a pretty high chance here that she's getting all hyped up and reacting to something that never actually happened.
Then she makes a video and she posts it for everyone to see. But the feedback she gets isn't of people scolding her for being cruel and betraying her sister's trust. The feedback she gets is praise. This is the kind of vegan-phobic world we live in, where a vegan mother cannot even trust her own family to follow her instructions and not betray her. Millions of people have seen this video and have commented that they think it is funny, and they somehow think that this is proof that the baby wants the meat.
She's trying to make it seem like everybody's in the wrong for having a normal reaction. They see a video of a baby allegedly trying a barbecue rib for the first time and clearly seeming like they're enjoying it, and they're like, wow, that's a pretty cute video, which is a normal reaction. She also says that they somehow think this is proof that the baby wants the meat, pretty much insinuating that there's no way that the baby would want it, and I have no idea how that would even be the case. From what I've seen, babies are fairly straightforward with what they do and don't like. If the baby didn't like the rib, there's probably a high chance that it would have turned away, or since it is a baby, it would have probably just fucking thrown up. And if anyone knows why babies do that, tell me in the comments, because I've seen countless videos of babies just sitting there and then just randomly fucking throwing up. And I know it's a bit off topic and shit, but I don't know, does that just happen when you like don't burp them or something? Is that why they say you gotta burp the baby after they eat, or else they'll just fucking throw up?
But look closely. This meat is covered in barbecue sauce, which is made of salt, sugar, and spices.
Alright, I'm sorry. I promise that this will be the last time that I pause it. I'm gonna let it finish, but I just couldn't let that slide. She's saying that this rib is covered in sauce, and, you know, I know it's not that big of a point, but I don't fucking believe it. If anything, this might just be one of the driest bones of barbecue I've ever seen. Now, you know, I don't doubt that there's sauce on it. It's a barbecue rib. It's obviously sauce on it, but saying it's covered in sauce is a bit of a stretch here.
The baby is enjoying the barbecue sauce, which is vegan. If this had been a lollipop, the child would have had the same reaction. If this had been somebody's penis covered in sauce, the child would have had the same reaction. Let that sink in for a minute. Ponder that. Picture that. Feel that in your gut. Let that imagery wash all over your body. And before you can scream and yell and say that there is a big difference between the two, I invite you right now to try to articulate that. Because, in fact, there is no difference.
No. I don't think I'll be imagining it, pondering it, or any of that other shit. I don't know how we keep topping it, but this might just be the craziest shit that I've ever heard. And this whole situation gets much worse when you realize that this lady used to work around children. I think she used to be an actual teacher. She also just kept driving the fucking point home that she wanted you to imagine it, picture it, let it wash over you. To hear anyone say this is absolutely fucking wild, and like I said, it's just that much crazier since she used to work around kids. She just somehow managed to try to compare one of the, if not the worst crime that you can commit as a human being to feeding someone's allegedly vegan child a fucking barbecue rib. And you know, let's just say for argument's sake that this situation is actually real and true and someone is feeding their sister's vegan baby a barbecue rib. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like like that isn't fucked up, because sure, it is. You know that she's vegan and she wants her child to be vegan, and then you go behind her back and feed her something that you shouldn't. And I, of course, don't need to explain it to you guys, but this is in no way, shape, or form even remotely comparable to the worst crime that you can commit as a person. People weren't pissed about the caption over this video because this is more comparable to something like, oh, I don't want my kid eating snacks or something, and then while you're babysitting them, you give them snacks. Like I said, sure, it's kind of an asshole thing to do, but it's nothing outrageous. And she's genuinely sitting here honestly and wholeheartedly saying that there's absolutely no difference between the two situations that she brought up. And you know, I'm not even the biggest fan of cancel culture, deplatforming, and all this other stuff, but people like this genuinely do not need a platform to spread almost any of their thoughts. And don't get me wrong, I'm just as much a fan of freedom of speech as the next guy, but when you're saying crazy shit like this, it's not even a matter of freedom of speech as much as you shouldn't be allowed access to a platform where you can get your outrageous thoughts out there to countless people. And saying some crazy shit like this and genuinely believing it, not only does she need to be banned, but possibly investigated and definitely restricted from going near any kids whatsoever, banned from being near any sort of school, any sort of fucking park that kids frequent, all of that shit. And this situation is also kind of just sad because I knew that this lady was a bit wacky, a bit unhinged, and she always gave some wacky ass takes, but this is beyond wacky. This isn't in the wacky territory anymore. This is in the possibly predator territory, and I'm sure I don't really need to say it, but I'm of course obviously not the only one that thinks this way. Just look at the like to dislike ratio on the video, and pretty much all of the comments are perpetuating the same thing. Deplatform button, cancel button, you are sick, comparing eating food to sexual assault, get some help. Please join me in reporting this as repulsive content, you need to be in prison. And it just keeps going on from there. Basically everyone is saying the exact same thing, and that's because they all have fucking brains. So all I can really hope that comes of this situation is cancel culture and this deplatforming shit actually makes itself useful for once and actually cancels someone that needs to be canceled. But with that said, that's pretty much been it on this horrible situation involving that vegan teacher, and if you made it this far in the video, you probably liked something, so you may as well like and maybe even subscribe. You'd be helping us get one step closer to our goal of 1 billion subscribers. But with that said, I'm not gonna hold y'all for too long, so I'll catch you guys in the next one.